And here we go, Season 2, Episode 3 of the Matt Reports. Special episode today. I just can't wait to get into it. What is the show all about? It used to be for 109 episodes. It was all about talking strictly and interviewing strictly WordPress entrepreneurs from around the globe and what they're doing in their business. For that was like 109 episodes. Now we're in Season 2. Season 1, which actually should have been Season 2, but this is Season 2. Interesting how that worked out. But Season 1 was the official start of seasons for Matt Report, and that was all about web design. Go back to that. There was 6 or 7 episodes there. Selling a $5,000 project to selling a $50,000 project and talking to folks who are managing and selling those projects, learning all about that. You can find out more about that at mattreport.com, and you want to stay connected, it's mattreport.com/subscribe. Join the mailing list where all this news and all this fun stuff goes out on a, at least a bi-weekly basis. It's not every day, so we're not going to spam you, but it's good stuff. And what's going on in Season 2, again, if you're the first-time listener, we're following along the journey of, I'm launching a new product. It's called Julep, and I'm just trying to do something super out in the open and starting from scratch, right? So I've got this product idea. It's about making images a little bit more fun for WordPress. And right now, what I'm working on is a plugin that allows you to embed text right into an image. Not a CSS overlay, not something that hovers over an image, but something that bakes in the the text right into your image. So you go into your media library, you type some text over it, and you say, hey, this is my great featured image title. You hit save. It actually creates a new image with the fancy text in there. You save it, you put it on your blog post, and you get more clicks, right? That's the idea. Makes your content a little bit more engaging. You can learn more about that at getjulep, JULEP.com. And my first goal from announcing it, of course, was to grow an email list of 100 folks to an email list. And as of today, let me just look at my MailChimp. 87. So I had a goal of 100 for Friday. I sort of missed that. The product isn't ready yet. We're still in a beta mode. There was a bug. That's been the biggest thing holding us back. Some bug with being able to drag the text across the image. For whatever reason, it's not working correctly. So we got to solve that before we can go into a beta stage. But if you do join that email list, getjulep.com, you can sign up right over there. You'll be the first to know when the beta goes out. And some other internal business stuff. I ran a Facebook ad and totally going against the grain on everything that I say I would do. Call to actions and doing things the proper way. I just threw up the video to Julep and threw $20 at Facebook ads to promote it. It performed well in terms of pennies on the dollar, right? So I got 800 plus views to that video. It only cost me $20. I think 500 something uniques. So pennies on the dollar in terms of exposure, but I didn't put a call to action in there, right? So my email list probably grew maybe between 6 and 10 people, right? But that's my own fault. This is just a perfect lesson, right? So if you're out there trying to promote your product or service and you're thinking Facebook ads, you have to it's not as easy as just throwing money at it and the people will come. You have to perfect the messaging. You have to have the right call to actions. And clearly, if you're looking to get somebody to sign up, never mind buy something, it has to be super clear. I'll post the graph and the stats from the Facebook ad right in this post that goes along with this episode, so you can learn from that. And maybe I'll do another one to try to get myself over to that 100. But that's the biggest thing holding me back right now, are the bugs in Julep. This is something that's critical. I can't launch it because it's sort of just malfunctioning, and I don't want to do that. So that's been the biggest speed bump so far. On the good news, on the other side of the fence, as some of you might know, I've been actually looking for a co-host for the show, right, for Season 2. Somebody to share in the misery and in the pain of running a WordPress business, or any business, but specifically a WordPress business, and specifically a WordPress services business agency or and a product business, right? Selling a plugin, selling a theme. So I started that quest 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I sought out to find somebody who is doing this. I talked to people who are very well known in the WordPress space and are very successful in the WordPress space. I talked to people outside of the WordPress space, right? Do you have just a SaaS business or this product business or this ebook business? I talked to a few folks like that, and I wanted to find somebody who is just launching something like we are with Julep and Conductor, and have an agency business at the same time. How do we balance this stuff? The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So Devin Walker is quietly sitting behind the scenes. Devin, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for the introduction. I'm excited to be on the show. Really glad that you came to me and asked me to kind of co-host this season with you. I must say, I'm kind of here and there type of listener, but I really enjoy your style of this podcast. I've been on a number of WordPress podcasts, and I really like how you do it in your format. It's really good.
That's great, man. There is something. So when I take a step back, I said, "Gee, who would actually cry on air with me, right?" And I said, "This guy right here, right? Just look at your avatar."
Yep.
I had we had never met. We had never met at a WordCamp. At least I don't think we've ever met, right? You and I have never met, right, in person.
We might have bumped into each other at one point.
All right, maybe we did. But there was no, it was just I just cold called people, right? And I'm gonna drop in some audio into this podcast right here. And we're just gonna give it a listen of our very first time talking to each other on the phone, literally cold calling you like a salesperson. So here we go.
Sounds good.
Hey.
Hey,
What's
how
up?
you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well.
By the way, it's great to talk to you. First time I've ever spoken to you, I think.
You as well?
Where are you? Where
We're in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
Downtown.
Nice. Very cool. Well, thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
This is recording, as I said, just for historical purposes. Hopefully we can work this out. I kind of like your storyline, and I like what you're doing, of course. And the backstory about this, I know Matt probably filled you in on some of it. Actually, let me turn on my video so it's fair game.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm sure Matt explained some stuff to you before. And,
Yeah, a bit.
And so what I'm doing is, with all the other stuff I have going on in my professional career, I've started to launch this new plugin as sort of just a bit of material for a new season of the Matt Report, and out of interest of just launching another product, because God knows us entrepreneurs can't stop launching products.
Exactly.
And I really just want to be able to journal this in a way of, exposing everything that's going on. And I felt like I didn't want to do it alone and just have the storyline by myself, talking about the launch of Julep and what's going on with Julep. But to have somebody else who has some skin in the game, who's also launching something new that can really speak from the heart of this stuff, right?
So I think I wasn't under the impression that it was an ongoing show. I thought it was just one of your show's episodes. So I'll have to definitely consider that as far as time-wise goes. But I really like the premise of the new show idea.
All right. So that was our very first phone call, and walk us through this cold call from the Matt Report. Did you want to do it right away? What were your reservations for co-hosting a show with me?
Mainly the time commitment. We're really busy here as entrepreneurs. To fill some of the listeners in, I'm a lead developer on a product called Give. It's a donation plugin for WordPress. You can see more about that at givewp.com. Back to what the original question so mainly the time commitment. I wasn't all too familiar with your show. I know I've seen it. I know you as an influencer in the community. I've heard your name around, and so that's what intrigued me to get on the phone with you. And then when you really started talking, I could hear, how you are an excellent podcaster and how you're really going through the same things we are here as a small team, and me personally. And I just kind of decided mid conversation that it was a good idea, and this was something I wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was important for me, for the listeners out there. Number one, obviously, thank you for taking the time, no matter what you're doing, running, washing the dishes, and all that stuff. But definitely making sure that we had somebody on the show that was real, right? That was the most important part, right? Somebody that is going through these things, just like me and just like a whole host of other folks who are listening to the show. I didn't want somebody, that has already been accomplished, because, the stories that they would tell, hey, look, you go to bed at night worrying about, is this product going to survive? Is it going to make sales? Am I going to be able to?
If I can go to bed at night.
Right, if you can go to bed at night. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the kind of point of view that I wanted to have with us. So season 2, hosting this together should be a damn good time. That's all I have to say.
I'm really looking forward to it. I hope I don't cry on air too much. I hope it's a bunch of success and joy for both of us, right?
Yeah, right. So what has been the biggest challenge for you? The last episode we talked to Troy Dean. He talked about his sort of fears of launching a product, and he gave us insights there. So if you want to go back to the past episode, season 2, episode 2, with Troy Dean, it's a different sort of fear factor for him. But what's been your biggest obstacle since launching Give?
So really the balancing it. Since our launch, I think the launch went really well. We're, up to 1,000 active installs now since our launch in April, and we're getting around 50 to 75 downloads per day on average. So we expect that number to jump to 2,000 on the WordPress repo, hopefully within the next couple of weeks here. But since launch, I think the main challenge for me personally as lead developer on the project has been really balancing developing the core plugin and furthering that along, while at the same time building out the add-ons that we have for it. There's a couple of really critical add-ons that aren't out right now, which people are really wanting. One called recurring donations, which basically allows users to subscribe to giving via the Give donation form. So it's a really complex add-on to develop, and we want it out as soon as possible, but we also don't want to stick a product out there that's going to be not done completely, not done to the way people expect it, and ultimately let down in the long run and potentially cause more development down the line since we hastily launched it.
So how many active installs do you have right now with Give?
We have 1,000 according to WordPress.org. I think it's leaning towards the 2,000 mark here pretty shortly.
Yeah. So in the beginning, right, when I launched Conductor, and this is the same kind of, I'm back at the same point with Julep, is I was thinking to myself, all right, do I go the .org route and put it up there and just potentially get bombarded with bad reviews, right? Because it's still too early. It's still an early stage product. Julep, in this sense, is beta. So, did you ever have that sort of tug of war? Like, do I go free? Do I go free with the add-on route? Do I go all-inclusive like Gravity Forms does, which is what I do with Conductor right now? What was your school of thought with that?
With Give, we never really had the question of whether or not to go free or not. I mean, the plugin was originally forked from several different plugins, primarily EDD, and we really liked their model, and we stuck with that because we see, Pippin's kind of been one of our, influencers, I guess, that we follow in the community, and we really, like his code style, and we wanted to kind of replicate that with this product, and that's why we decided to go free, and we've done that with most of our plugins. We only have one premium plugin, which is an extension to WooCommerce right now.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I really think this business is, aside from the theme business, but let's just talk plugin business. I just think it really has to do with distribution. And, .org is really your only channel for mass distribution in this market, aside from going to a marketplace. But that's a whole other ball of wax, right? That's a totally different,
Yeah, we
market.
decided to, but when I first got into it, I tried to get on ThemeForest and had my experiences with that, and just ultimately decided that in order to grow a sustainable business, we had to do it on our own. And, WordPress.org has its limitations, and, if you go a free pro model, you have to handle 2 code bases, and you're right, if you release a, super MVP product on there, you might get eaten alive with reviews.
Right.
Thankfully, we've gotten a lot of really good positive reviews, and I'll tell you, we really pride ourselves on those, and primarily because when you provide good support for your products on WordPress.org, and after you provide that good support, you ask the people to maybe leave a kind review if they enjoy the plugin, they'll go ahead and they'll support you with that.
That's a great idea, actually. I've never even thought about doing that. So because we do a lot of free support with our themes on .org, we should probably ask them if they like that to go ahead and review that.
Definitely, and advertising the plugin as well. If you look at WooCommerce, we've copied what WooCommerce is doing in the WordPress admin within the plugin on the footer on the WooCommerce pages.
Oh, yes, yep.
They ask you to give them 5 stars, and I think we've gotten a couple from there as well. But if you look at our reviews on Give on WordPress.org, they're all, I think we have 37 5 stars and no other ratings. So
yeah. Do you ever find yourself with anybody saying like, "Hey, I've got this support issue. Can you help me with it? And if you do, I'll buy that add-on from you." Like, does anybody ever like hold you hostage to like buy an add-on if you don't give them support? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd say that has happened. A lot of people, what frustrates me the most is when people will give your plugin 1-star review without even asking for support.
Right.
And they're usually just had created an account just to give your plugin 1 star, mm-hmm. or you see their plugin, or you look at their profile, and that's all they've done is given plugins 1 star. So those type of .org user plugin trolls, I guess you'd call them, are kind of frustrating. But no, nobody's really kind of said, if you give us support, we'll buy this add-on. I think out of good support, they've given you, or they've purchased the add-on. Maybe they've hinted at it, in the process of asking for support.
Yeah, and that was the scariest thing, for me. And I'm always and I'm continually scratching my head to find out the right business model. I mean, I don't even know if Conductor will continue to have this sort of all-inclusive, pay one price, all-inclusive model. Because I'm always actively, making sure I've picked the right thing, and I guess it's good and bad that in this business we can pivot and change things around if we decide, if we decide we want to. I guess we could always go freemium route and add on for sure with Conductor. But my biggest fear with Conductor is because it's not a page builder, but because you can build pages of content with it. The core product is very hands-on, and if the person isn't happy with the first step of the hands-on process, like building their page, and then they turn to me and they say, "Well, buy your WooCommerce add-on so I can add products onto my homepage, but not until you give me, a boatload of free support." And that's always been the biggest fear for me, which goes against the whole like hug a tree GPL, like if you build a great piece of software, people will buy regardless.
Yeah, I think it's a balance between providing that free support and then, drawing a line between when the people get a little unwieldy, like, can you style my theme for me and things like that.
Right. So do you run into that too with your stuff? Like, are people like using it on incompatible themes and they're just like, your plugin sucks?
Yeah, I mean, for somewhat, yeah, I would give more than anything else because the donation forms, we've kept the styling really light, and we've made it up to the themes to kind of style the forms how they do normally. Any good theme should style forms according to their style guide. So
Right.
unfortunately, a lot of themes we've been running into, and then a lot of popular themes that you find on ThemeForest and some other marketplaces, we have been having some style issues, and we've helped people fix them up for free, and we've also built in things within the plugin to help with compatibility there.
Yeah.
But we're purposely keeping it light in the plugin so themes can take advantage of it, and you will see donation-specific themes on ThemeForest that are powered by Give, which one is going to be released here hopefully in the next week or two by
Nice.
A developer out of India.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's always the trade-off. It's amazing what people do with WordPress, right? And I mean, there are people who use Conductor with Divi, and there are people who use Conductor with like dynamic page builder for Genesis.
Yeah.
Hey, I understand that there are things like they see a particular feature happening in one plugin, they're like, I want that feature, and they come to another plugin, they go, I want that feature too, and they just mash the two together. Which I get it, but it leads me to kind of wonder about do these people really care? Like, is that type of user even caring how much effort we're putting into doing things the WordPress way, right? Will that ever shine through for the bulk of customers if they don't really care? If they're just like, I don't care, I'm just going to install 100 plugins and just get this one page built. It's always
the site looks terrible on the front end too, and just as bad on the back end. It's got 4 different plugins running for the same thing, and those are the users that you kind of have to watch out for, but you still have to help them if they've purchased a license and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the biggest challenges that we started to talk about, and we sort of got sidetracked there, is balancing this time, right? Balancing the time of add-on development, core development, sales, right? And doing all the other stuff that we do. For me, I've talked about this before, the biggest thing, and I learned this from Garrett Moon, it's the simplest thing ever, right? It's the easiest thing ever. Garrett Moon of CoSchedule. When dealing with agency work and product work at the same time, just shifting the mindset to understand that you want to kick off, the morale, the culture, the weekly meeting with product stuff, right? So for us, it's what we do. Like when we kick off our weekly meetings, and sometimes it's every other week, it starts with the product first, and it sort of just energizes us. It's a little mind hack that says, hey, we're building a product company here, and then we get into sort of, the monotony of the client work. And I shouldn't say that client work, drags us down. It's certainly fun, and we've been recently launching some really awesome projects. But it's just, has the customer signed off on this milestone? Have they sent us the content that they need? Like those tasks.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
We've sort of just said, let's kick off with something fun and energizing, and then we'll just clean up the rest. But what about you? How are you sort of managing this time?
Primarily I manage it through Task Manager, and I'm really managing myself as far as the development goes on Give, and my partners here are also helping me manage with several contractors. Mm-hmm. So I'm fortunate enough to have them, kind of take that over, and then within our weekly meetings we discuss how that's going, if they have any questions as far as the wireframes we've created or the description of the technical specs. If they do, I'll help answer those questions, flesh those things out. But really then I get to focus on building out our products, and that's really what our game plan is right now. It's build as much as we can. And of course we have a great support to back it up. But my focus is moving forward with the products, and if I see something that needs to be created, I'll make an issue for myself within GitHub if it's on the repo there, or I'll create a task in Asana if it needs to be something outside of the code that needs to be done, and that's kind of how I manage myself.
Yeah. So we're in like the same the same sort of cycle, right? So Conductor being almost a year old, we're doing the same thing where it's just like build, build, build. I mean, like like the other day, we were building something, and we probably spent 2 or 3 weeks. Mind you, this is all within a whole bunch of projects that we're working on too at the same time, like client work, right? So it's not like it's 3 weeks of pure product development. There's client work in there. But we went 3 weeks anyway, and we were sort of working on this feature, and I was just like, oh God, I think we decided the wrong. I don't think we should have done this, and we sort of just scrapped it. How do you do that too? And do you ever catch yourself? Do you not have a surefire way to sort of squash that right out of the gate?
Sometimes you have to go down a road in order to realize that it dead ends and you need to turn back. And I've done that with code plenty of times in plenty of different plugins. Built a feature in, was going to release it, realized it wasn't done the right way, and then it's kind of the same way with recurring donations. How we have it right now, it doesn't have some of these critical features, and we could release it in kind of like a pared down version, but we're choosing to hold back. And granted, it's affecting us as far as the revenue we could bring in. But we're doing it out of going down the road that will lead to more successful things for us and more user adoption things, that are more beneficial to releasing code that's just not ready yet.
Right. Are you happy with the revenue that you're making right now with Give? Or is it still too early to tell?
I mean, for as young as we are, we're doing pretty well. I'd say we really only have the main add-ons we offer are payment gateways and a couple tools into different email marketing systems. And for those, they're selling pretty well. And I'm pretty happy with it, but I know there's a whole lot more ahead as long as we can continue developing further and releasing more great products for it.
So what are you going to work on next? What's the biggest thing, leading up until our next show? I think this has been a fairly good introduction of who you are and what you've been up to, but what are you going to work on next for the next show, whenever that might be? Somewhere before I get married, I know that.
So tentative on when the next show is. Right. I've really been working on, we have a plugin called Google Maps Builder. It's on the repo right now. I released it last year, and since its release, it has been fairly popular. It's essentially a plugin for visually building Google Maps. You can add all sorts of markers. You can use Google Places to show restaurants, hotels, and all sorts of landmarks around you. And people really like it. Unfortunately, I just haven't had enough time to give it the attention it needs and then monetize it into a pro version, which I've really been focused on developing that out further. And I almost have the beta ready for people to check out. So we're going to be releasing the beta here for the next couple of days on wordimpress.com. So we'll have information about that, and we'll tweet out about that. But my goal, to answer your question, is to get the beta out and to have our branding all done. It's 95% done on the logo. Just need to button up a few things in the beta version, freeze development on it, get Matt Cromwell, my partner here, to release some of the marketing material he's been using or developing, and then to get the community feedback, and then hopefully fix a bunch of bugs and release the 2.0 version. Because I see a lot of potential with that, with the amount of active installs it has now, and the number of features we're building into the plugin that will really wow people. I think could really be a potential for a game changer as far as what people turn to for Google Maps when they are building in WordPress.
Yeah. So you're just as crazy as I am, launching multiple products at the same time. Still haven't fleshed out the original business yet. I get it.
It's a shotgun approach, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, the thing I'm going to work on next is I'm trying to hit that 100. I think I'll be able to do it pretty easily. It's only 13 more people. God, if I can't get 13 more people on the email list, I should go back and start a landscaping company. I don't know what I should do. Yeah. So if you want to join that email list for Julep, it's getjulep.com, JULEP.com. You can join the mailing list over there. And that's what I'm going to work on for the next episode. Hopefully I'll have 100 folks on there. Hopefully the beta will be ready to go. and maybe I can get that sucker out before I get married and away on my honeymoon and let people play with it for a few weeks, and then I come back to a boatload of email of people saying it doesn't work. So that'll be kind of fun. What about you, man? What are you going to work on? What's your short-term goal besides the launch?
Yeah, really that's my goal is to get that beta out, then to really focus on recurring donations, get that out. But that's kind of end of summer goal for the recurring donations. Lots of code still to be done on that, lots of testing, but it's on the horizon.
Sweet. Well, good luck, and we'll catch up on the next episode. It's mattreport.com/subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at mattreport. And Devin, where can folks find you on the web?
WordPress.com is the best, and my Twitter handle is @interwebs.
Awesome, man. All right, I'll talk to you next time.
Alrighty.
Thanks for listening to the Matt Report. If you want to stay subscribed, it's mattreport.com/subscribe. I would love a 5-star review in iTunes, or any review, really. If you like the show, love the show, hate the show, just search for us in iTunes, Matt Report, and leave us a review. 5-star would be appreciated, though. And if you want to stay connected to the recent product launch that we have here, it's getjulep.com. And as always, this show is sponsored by my parent company at Slocum Studio. We do WordPress design and development for brands and universities such as Rutgers University, Brown University, Wheaton College, and more. You can check us out at slocumstudio.com. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions for me, it's mattreport@gmail.com.